Hey everybody, Happy New Year. Welcome to a new season. Season 3. Yeah, season 3.
Season 3.
Wow. Of Let's Talk Ghosts. We were actually looking back at some of the stuff that we have reviewed in the past, and our very first episode was August the 2nd, 2023. Wow.
Yeah.
So y'all are been listening to us for a while, and you're crazy.
Y'all
are crazy. So while I was looking back at some of the episodes that we have talked about, we thought there's a few that we should go back and, after, now almost a year and a half, things may have changed with them. Things might have changed with us. Our perceptions obviously change as time goes on. So one of the ones that we looked at way back when, we kind of did a re-review of it a few, weeks or maybe a month or so later. But we never really went back and saw it lately, is Katrina Weidman's Travel the Dead.
Yeah.
Her web series. Now, way back when we first looked at it and then looked at it again, it was still very new. Yeah. There was a big learning curve for her and her crew. So we thought we would take another look. And I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
So the episode that we saw was the last, I think it was the latest one for us now. And it was called The Most Haunted Prison. We watched part 1. It's the Ohio State Reformatory. Everybody has seen the Ohio State Reformatory in so many different YouTube videos and stuff. But we watched this one.
Yeah.
Now, the first 5 minutes was annoying because it was all basically a commercial about a Paracon that they went to.
Right.
Or were going to, or something. Basically, the prison was hosting this Paracon, and so a whole bunch of people were going to be there, or had been there, and then they were going to investigate it afterwards. But it took 5 minutes to get to the investigation. 5 full minutes of a bunch of stuff that I really had no interest in. I don't care.
No. Well, yeah.
I didn't care because we weren't there. We didn't go to it, so maybe if we'd gone to it, I would have had more interest. But anyway, we get to the part of the investigation, and we do a really good history with a fellow named Greg. Now, I don't know if he's the owner or just like the head docent. I can't remember what they said there.
Yeah, he's the owner.
Okay. So he did a really good history of the site.
Yeah.
Nothing that I don't think we'd heard before.
No.
But it was still good to have the recap and review. Always nice to get the history of a site.
Yeah.
And then what I found fun was Adam Sagers joined them. Now, we know Adam from, I think it's Paranormal Caught on Camera.
Yeah.
He's one of the guest paranormal experts, along with our favorite Susan Slaughter, who is there. Anyway, he was there to be like a guest investigator with them.
Yeah.
Which I found interesting because they always talk about him being this paranormal journalist.
Yeah.
So to actually see him doing some investigating was really quite good.
Yeah.
I like that part. The first thing we noticed right off the bat, that I noticed, is they didn't really have a steady cam. It was kind of herky-jerky in spots. But it wasn't, after the initial little bit, it got better.
Yeah.
So I think it could have been just the motion of whatever they were doing had that. But the photography was pretty decent.
Yeah.
It was much better than the first time round.
Yeah.
I think they sort of are maybe hitting their stride now. They sort of kind of know what they're doing. So that was good.
Yeah.
Heather was there. She, I like Heather. She was doing a pretty decent job trying to debunk stuff.
Yeah.
I think she was doing more debunking than Katrina was.
Yeah.
They did say that there was like a multiple amount of unexplained sounds, unexplained knocks. Well, it's a very old building. It's going to have sounds, knocks and bangs and metal sounds and all kinds of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I liked it way better. To me, the professionalism has been ramped up.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good. They tried to do a challenge. Gee, I wonder where they got that idea from, all these people making all these challenges. But the guy, Greg, when he has people come in to do investigations now, he creates these challenges for people. And so what they did was Katrina picked one of these challenges and they were going to draw straws for them. And, you know, you didn't know if you got the short end of the stick, so to speak, or the long end of the stick. In this particular instance, the short end of the stick was the one you wanted because the long straw got the scariest challenge. So that was good. But in all fairness, the part I liked the best was when Aaron went off by himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
His investigation was an investigation.
Yeah.
The others, it just seemed to be...
They didn't
investigate, really.
No.
They didn't. He did. He went out to the west attic or something like that.
Yeah.
He was off by himself with his camera, and off he went.
Yeah, the scariest part.
To the scariest part, yeah. Which is initially where he ended up going with the challenge, because he had to go back there. But he did well, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so, too.
So I really enjoyed that part of it. Not so much.
He didn't run.
He didn't. There's no running and screaming. Well, they didn't run and scream either. Katrina doesn't do that.
No.
She doesn't run and scream, and neither does Heather. No. You know, they have a really good solid base, so they're not, you know, the typical crazy YouTubers that don't know what they're doing. These folks do know what they're doing. They have been in the network. All of them, all three of them, have been in network television. They know the shtick. They know how to make it look good. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah. Some
of the photography angles were kind of cool. Now, when you're up there on some of those tiers, I mean, those aisles, those hallways, like they're so narrow. And there's just this little bar preventing you from falling over.
Yeah.
Some of it you could see where they fenced it off, like with a thick chain link fence. But there was sections where they didn't have that. And holy God, I remember saying, it wouldn't take much to flip somebody over that rail.
Yeah.
Wow, that was pretty scary. I don't think I would... I'll bet you there were a lot of deaths in there. People getting killed that way just by tossing them off a tier.
Yeah.
Scary. Very scary. But like I said, it was a pretty good episode. I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah. Me too.
I think I would watch now some more of these later ones.
Yeah.
The early ones, No. I really wasn't that into them. They weren't as good.
They weren't polished enough.
Yeah, she needed some time to find her way and figure out what she wanted to do with this show that she was creating.
Yeah.
I should say they, because Heather is just as involved, I believe, as Katrina. Katrina just was using her name, her channel, to get started with it, and that's why it's there. But it's definitely the two of them as a partnership, and that shows, because there's no... they're not set on showcasing one person versus the other.
Yeah.
So I like that. Katrina looks good.
Yeah.
She's had her hair done, some thinned out and layered and everything. She looks great. She's lost some weight.
Yeah.
Married life is done good for her.
Yeah.
She looks good. And Heather looks the same.
Yeah.
She's always been cute. So yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one that we went back and looked at was Paranormal Encounters.
Yeah.
Now, this is another one that we looked at very early on, and we enjoyed them. It was Connor and India. But this episode that we saw is just Connor Biddle. And I don't know what happened to India. I don't know if she's just not there for this one. We'll have to watch another one at some point and see. This one was called "This Haunted Place Terrifies Everyone Who Enters." No, this is not true. Again, it's the catchphrases to try to get people to watch.
At least there's no demons.
Yeah, no, there's no demons. So actually what this place is called the Voodoo's World of Oddities.
Yeah.
And it's about paranormal and mortuary science. So this has got like a bookstore and gift shop in one section, and sort of the basement area has like a museum. He's trying to build a museum now. It's very small right now. Yeah. It's like one room. So I think that's going to take some time to do something more with it.
Yeah.
So Connor started out, he's by himself. He's got one camera plus his body camera. And he used it very well. And the photography and everything was done so well. I went back to Google it, which I never did before because I never really thought about it before. And it turns out that Connor and India were part of a larger group, probably their initial paranormal group, that created a show on television called Paranormal Encounters.
Yeah.
And it started out in 2012. And like I said, there was several of them, and it's just been now those two. So it's no wonder that it is very well done. It's because, they do have the skill.
Yeah.
So that was good. It started off with a really good sort of historical tour, for lack of a better word, from the owner, whose name is John Harris.
Right.
So he told them quite a bit of stuff about the museum, mostly the museum.
Yeah.
What I found kind of creepy in this museum is he has quite a lot of child-sized and baby-sized coffins, which is very sad.
Yeah.
And the nice part of this is he didn't go in there saying, "Oh yes, this is all haunted."
Yeah.
He says it takes him a lot to say that something is haunted.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's so refreshing.
Yeah.
So refreshing. But that being said, he's got a lot of creepy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some creepy dolls. He's got this, he called it a shard of a mirror that had been taken out of how did he didn't phrase it as taken out. It had been almost like forcibly removed, it sounded like, from somebody's house. And it shattered in the process.
Yeah.
And he's got this shard, which is large piece of mirror in his museum. And a lot of times he keeps it covered with curtains because it causes people distress, especially like his wife.
The co-owner.
Yeah, his wife. She has some issues with it. And other people have said that as well, that they've had they don't feel very good around it. So.
Yeah.
But this shard has got to be like bigger, 11 by 12 or something. Like it's pretty big. It's in its own frame. It's so big. It supposedly had 3 spirits attached to it. So whether it still has 3 or not, it's hard to know. But apparently there's still something there that's bothering people. So when the investigation first starts, Connor goes downstairs into the museum. I wrote down he starts out in the room with the baby coffins. Well, there's only one room, and it all has baby coffins. And he says, "Ooh, it's a heavier vibe in here." Yeah.
The coffins? Yeah.
Baby coffins would give you that.
Yeah.
So whether that's real or not, I don't know if that's, imagine, not to say that he's not feeling that, but is his imagination kicking in, making it feel heavy because baby coffins. Yeah. And it's not just the coffins. He's got dolls laying out in them like they're, Yeah. He also has pictures. Now, they never showed us the pictures, thank goodness, of the post, what do you call it? Like post-autopsies, of these kids. So they, I don't want to see those pictures. I don't know why you would even have them. That's just so inappropriate. Yeah. But probably pictures of them laid out in their coffins, from face up kind of thing. But still, he was really good about saying, there's no evidence of
Yeah, John was.
Yeah, John was really good about that. So
with the dolls.
The dolls, there are some dolls that have issues, some that don't. Nothing demonic.
Yeah.
He made it very clear that there's nothing dangerous with any of the dolls, but some of the dolls made people feel unsettled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for an owner to say that about dolls is, quite, commendable.
Well, you got to admit that it's refreshing to hear rather than somebody trying to push. Oh, it's so haunted. Oh, these dolls are scary. Yeah. I mean, he has one doll that is in a locked box.
Yeah.
And he said, "Don't read anything into it. It isn't. She's behind this lock because she's an extremely old rag doll from the Civil War era.
Yeah.
So she's there because she's valuable."
Yeah.
And he doesn't want her to get damaged.
Yeah.
So there. And he was very clear that she's not haunted in that way. I don't know why he has her.
Yeah.
Probably more for authenticity or something. But she's behind locked glass, not because she's demonic. And honestly, would glass really keep a demon in? I don't believe that for a second.
No.
They want out, they're going to get out. It's, just like the Annabelle doll. She's behind a locked thing. Don't touch, don't open it.
Yeah.
Well, if Annabelle wants out, she's coming out.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think for Annabelle, that's a whole different story. But they have holy water and stuff that they do daily to keep her in there and whatever. Anyway, back to the investigation. He did a really good sort of debunk of some of the sounds. Very initially, one of his little devices went off. And he went back and forth with it a few times trying to get it to do it again. And it didn't.
Yeah.
So he clearly says maybe this was just an environmental noise.
Yeah.
So that was good. I was really pleased to see that. He didn't just take it as gospel that it was something. In fact, it took quite a while for him to actually start getting some sort of possible, and it was really when it came down to, do you want me to leave? Say yes, green for yes on this device. It's an epoch device or something, or red for no, and it clearly says yes, and he didn't leave.
Yeah,
he kept going on about why do you want me to leave? And I think at this point it's because he knows he's got to fill so much time.
Yeah.
So he's got to do something. He starts to complain about some pain on his neck or some burning on his neck. And he goes to the store where John and his Jennifer Harris are. That's the owners. For insurance purposes, they needed to be on site, so they stayed into the store part of it. Gets John to take a look at his neck, and he takes a picture of it so he can show it to him. And it shows... Yeah, there are some red marks there, but a big part of it is probably from the strap from his camera.
Right.
And there's a very thin little scratch line sort of perpendicular from it. And, I mean, it sounds like Connor really wanted it to be scratches. He really wanted it to be a scratch, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And there was just no way he could get
John
to say that it was.
Yeah.
And I don't think John wanted to say that it was. He doesn't want people to think he's got a whole bunch of demonic stuff in his museum, because that brings out the crazies.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to do that. So
and the aggression that goes.
People just get crazy.
Yeah.
So he did stay away from the museum for a little while. He explored a different part of the building, which looks like it might be sort of under construction for something.
Yeah.
It's almost like a big wide open space that maybe they're going to use it for.
More dolls or something.
I don't know. I'm thinking event space. It looked pretty much like that. Another investigation team had apparently done a seance in it, but it was really nothing. He thought he heard a noise, but then he clearly said, well, okay, I'm not sure what I'm hearing. Yeah. So he said, he kind of, when in doubt, throw it out, and he kind of did. That was it. And he went back to the museum and stayed there for just a very short time.
Yeah.
And then I believe it.
He said again, if you want me to go.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pointing at a couple of these, a REM pod and a couple other things, and he didn't pay attention to the one that was behind him. That's the one that was going off. He didn't see. So eventually he did turn around and see that one going off and went, oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that one, was going off. So he cleaned up his stuff and he did leave at that point. So it was good. I mean, to me it was a very lackluster investigation. But you know what? This is authentic.
Yeah. Because
you don't always get the stuff that you see in some of these others. You don't get all the, oh my gosh, the EVPs and this and that. And you're lucky to get one thing in an investigation.
Exactly. As of late, we're watching Beardo and watching,
some of the stuff he finds, I mean, and he's absolutely right. When you say, if you go on a real ghost investigation, a real paranormal investigation, you're lucky to get one thing in an evening. Yeah. But for some of these channels to have these event-filled nights where they get so much, that is not realistic.
No, it's not reality.
I mean, when you see Ghost Adventures, I know you don't want to think about Ghost Adventures, but when you see Ghost Adventures and they show all that activity going on, that's not just a couple of hours and all the stuff's going on. They've got all this time spliced together so that they can take out those long periods of nothing so that they get their 1 hour versus, footage. Sometimes, depending on the show, they're there for a couple of days, but you don't know that because they don't tell you that. But it takes time to find stuff if it's even real.
Yeah.
So this was pretty good for authenticity.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I know he really wanted that to be a scratch.
Yeah.
But he was accepting of it.
And, and the REM pods, I'm just not in love with them.
I'm not sold on a lot of these gimmicks anymore. When I've seen people pull them apart to see what's inside.
Yeah, like Kenny Biddle did a really good job.
And Mr. Gray does a really good job of pulling these apart to see what's inside. Yeah. And it's just little wires, little
magnets.
Yeah, like there's nothing in there that's supposed to attract a ghost to do anything. So, maybe you can get your ghost to touch an antenna or something, but I don't know how much of that's truly. Can you really say it's a scientific thing? No, not really.
And it's not. It's for entertainment purposes.
And they say that when they sell them to you. They say that. Yeah. I still like an EMF detector. I like the tri-field meter. But again, you have to look at your equipment as for what it is. Yeah. Is it real? EMF can be so many different things. Doesn't necessarily mean a ghost. Yeah. You have to take everything in context. Yeah. I think the best investigation tool in any investigator's arsenal is their body. Yeah. What you feel.
And a real recorder.
Not a DR60 because those are crap. Did you hear they said they're selling for $3,000 now, those things? Those pieces of crap that don't work. Yeah. Because they've been seen on TV and these YouTubers and stuff feel like, oh, if Zach Bagans has one, I gotta have one. Yeah. It's a useless piece of crap that was stopped being produced because they're broken.
It was taken recalled.
It was recalled because they're broken. They don't work. Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy talk. Anyway, we digress. We go off on another tangent there. So, Travel of the Dead and Paranormal Encounters have both changed and grown since we last saw them. Yeah. Much, much better. Travel of the Dead, much better. Yeah. Much better. And, I'd probably give them another go with the newer stuff. And Paranormal Encounters, I liked it. It's like I said, it was fairly lackluster as far as some of the stuff that we've been watching lately. Yeah. But that's
a real
that's more authentic than some of the stuff I've seen. So I think I'll tend to keep them on our subscriber list.
Yeah.
I'm trying to clear up that list. We got a lot of stuff on our subscriber list that we don't even watch. So got to decide if we're going to keep on the list or not. Yeah. But those ones I think I'll keep. Yeah. Anyways, folks, that's it. Thanks for hanging with us today. Hopefully you'll have a great day, evening, night, wherever you are in this great wide world.
Happy hunting.
Happy hunting. Bye now.